Hey everyone, this is Comics Villain. Welcome to Villain Talks. We have a few bits of news today that we're going to discuss. Um, some horrible things happened today, and I suppose some interesting updates as far as the Vic Mignogna case have occurred today. So let's get into it. This first post, this is rather sad. It's dealing with a person who committed suicide, but we'll get into the details. Reports that because of Quinn, that's Zoe Quinn's accusations, like the Me Too accusation, Night in the Woods game developer Alec Haloka has taken his own life. His brother has left this here. Alec, my brother and best friend, passed away this morning. Those who know me will know that I believe survivors, and I have always done everything I can to support survivors, those suffering from mental illness, and those with chronic illness. Alec was a victim of abuse, and he also spent a lifetime battling mood and personality disorders. I will not pretend that he was not also responsible for causing harm, but deep down, he was a person who wanted only to offer people care and kindness. It took him a while to figure out how. Over the last few years, with therapy and medication, Alec became a new person, the same person he'd always been, but without any of the darkness. He was calm and happy, positive and loving. Obviously, change is a slow process, and it wasn't perfect, but he was working towards rehabilitation and a better life. In the last few days, he was supported by many Manitoba Crisis Services, and I want to thank everyone for their support. I want to thank Adam Saltzman for staying up late talking with us and reminding Alec that there was a future. My family has and always will be the most important thing to me. Please give us time to heal. We tried our best to support Alec, but in the end, he felt he had lost too much. I currently do not see a place for myself in games or on Twitter. I will not be looking at responses to this post. I appreciate everyone who has reached out to me over the last few days. For anyone who is in a time of darkness, I encourage you to reach out for support. There are always people who will be there for you. I don't want to give too much of my own view on this. I think, this says quite a bit, but to anyone that was, unfamiliar with this, Zoe Quinn basically accused him, so the whole Me Too thing. So it looks like, and people were saying that Zoe was trying to get out of some hot water. I think it may have to do with being out of money, not being able to finish her game, and then she just goes ahead and does another one of these Me Too things. This is not the first time, you know. So it's sad that it led to this, and maybe those in the whole hashtag Me Too movement need to really rethink through what's going on right now. I'm not saying don't come forward when something horrible happened. Like, do that immediately, not years later. But yeah, so very sad. The next bit of what's been happening, let's see, let's go back out. So we're going to go here because that's where a lot of everything is. Rekieta says, Nick Rekieta, in regards to the Funimation, and Sabat and Rial and Vic Mignogna, everybody, in regards to that whole case, we have this tweet. I didn't start with this tweet. I started with something else a little further on down where we're going. So it says, well, now that the doc is out, I'll just say it. Y'all on some shit. That's from Nick. And if you just go down a little bit, you'll see from someone named Slave Trader LLC that Sabat is Iago. He's saying that. There's nothing confirmed here. I'm not going to say that. He says Sabat is Iago. Funny CEO is Igor. He thinks to like to Iago, but Iago hates him. Something like that. Okay, so if we get into the affidavit from, I believe his name is. I should make sure. Let me see. Chuck Huber. Chuck Huber is the voice of Android 17 in Dragon Ball Z, as well as the voice of other characters for Funimation, like Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho as an example. He put out this huge affidavit, or I shouldn't say he did, but he has an affidavit that has been released finally. So basically, there is a lot said, and I'm going to go through all of it as best I can, but I will say this is rather damning. This is really bad, and if Toei is not looking at what's going on, which I highly doubt they aren't. I believe they are. They're collecting information, and I've heard people say things like, they'd never cut ties with Funimation. No, they would cut ties, especially if it was damaging their product, Dragon Ball, their IP. So let's read some of these. We'll read as many as we can here. Chris Sabat engaged in negotiations either directly or through Funimation for various projects with Toei, owner of Dragon Ball Z properties. The voice actors employed by Funimation generally consider Chris Sabat to be a de facto manager at Funimation, and they all believe his approval and support is vitally beneficial to succeeding at Funimation and the conventions and the converse regarding his disapproval. Chris Sabat has more influence at Funimation and other studios, including Rooster Teeth, and Toei, than Vic has ever had in the anime industry. Interesting. I heard Chris Sabat and Sean Schemmel call Vic a pedophile numerous times before the allegations against Vic in January 2019 arose. I have observed Chris Sabat on multiple occasions talk in a derogatory manner about members of Funimation management and other people he called friends. The first time I heard Vic's name was in conversation in 2003 or 4 with Sabat. This occurred while I was recording for a Funimation property in Okatron 5000. In that conversation, Chris Sabat verbally disparaged Vic's Christian faith and speculated that Vic was actually gay, based on the way he dressed. In that conversation, Chris Sabat stated that Vic was a pedo who liked little girls. Well, yeah. So there's quite a few things Chris Sabat has been saying about Vic. So continuing on. Despite these statements, he did not express concerns about risks for fans, which I thought was odd. Interesting, that. I believe the purported incidents investigated by Tammy Denbo occurred off Funimation property and not at Funimation events. The one incident that purportedly occurred on Funimation property occurred prior to Sony's acquisition of Funimation. Interesting. Thus, the no hugs policy from Sony was not in effect. There were no signs about the policy hung around the Funimation office. I do not believe Vic kissed Sarah Bachmeier without her consent. I have never heard rumors of Vic behaving sexually inappropriately at Funimation. During my settlement efforts, Todd Haberkorn told me that Chris Sabat, Ron Toei, and Sean Schemmel told him that he was in danger of never working at Funimation again because Haberkorn retained the same law firm as Vic. I also feared that my 20-year voice acting career at Funimation and personal reputation would be damaged by retaliation for association with Vic. Just imagine who else might feel that way. Just imagine who else might come forward in all this. I contacted Gen Fukunaga and then CEO of Funimation, to discuss my concerns with Chris Sabat's gaslighting of Sean Schemmel, damaging use of his authority towards actors, and his attempts to destroy my career. In early March 2019, who met with me and advised that Vic would lose and have to pay via something he had learned about called anti-slap motion. He also, in response to my specific concerns about Chris Sabat, said that he had been friends with Chris for 17 years, wow, and he did not believe me. That's not good. This meeting occurred on March 5th, 2019 at 2:30 p.m. in Gen's office, approximately a month to a month and a half prior to Vic filing the current pending lawsuit. I and my wife fear direct, planned, and specific retaliation from Chris Sabat and those loyal to him in the response to this affidavit that will be damaging to my reputation and career. So, Chuck Hubert wanted to get this out, even though he knows this is probably it for him. And I applaud him for that kind of bravery. That's, none of this is easy. None of this is going to be easy going forward. We're about to see a major shakeup, and a lot of people's childhood voice actors are probably going to be no longer doing their characters, which is the consequence of actions that have been taken over the past 2 decades. So there's a lot that has to be said about this. There's a lot that has to be said about this, but I don't know. What do you guys think about all this? It's pretty intense, pretty insane. In any case, let me know what you guys think. There's a lot more to this affidavit. You already see there's like 75 points here, and a lot of it's fairly different from one another. Some of it continues the story, some of it's just like, this is what this person said, that's what this person did, this is the email that person sent me, this is what I've heard, this is what I understand. There's quite a bit in regards to Funimation. I'm surprised Toei hasn't come out with an official statement yet, but I think they're getting ready. That's my opinion. I'm surprised Sony hasn't said anything, but I think because of legal proceedings going on right now, they really can't. They have to be careful too, and if they're not careful, they may be sued. That is what I've heard. That is what I understand. Funimation, on the other hand, they're screwed. They are really screwed. This is in no way going to benefit them. While people say that, bad press is still... what is the saying? Is it bad press is still good press? Something along those lines. I don't always believe that. I believe this is really, really bad, and this is going to hurt them ultimately. So we're about to see a major shakeup, in my opinion. So big thanks to everyone, including like Nick Rekieta, and also... hopefully Vic Mignogna can, pull through with all of this and, I don't know, get back to voice acting, get back to working. But there's quite a bit coming out with all these, and it's gonna probably take a while for things to be finalized. I don't think the whole, the Sue train is going to be stopping anytime soon. There's a lot of people that basically damaged his career and his reputation, and I don't think he needs to stop here. I think he needs to keep going. All right. In any case, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you have, share this video out. Maybe we can get some more subscribers. I just hit 280. Thank you very much for those subs. Sorry, I almost sound like Brie Larson there. Please like and comment on what you think about these two bits of news today. I will see you guys on the next video. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.